is the best medicine. My grandmother said that all the way through her life. One thing I remember about her more than anything else, laughter. It's the best medicine. Come on, son, get up, chin up, laugh it off. Laughter is the best medicine. She said that right up until the day she died. Laughter is the best medicine. Turns out chemotherapy would probably be a better treatment. But I remember the day she died, after a long struggle. We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming, so we just laid her down on a bed, and she passed away. And she looked ever so peaceful, so we just left her. Manager of IKEA was furious, absolutely furious. He didn't laugh it off at all. Laughter is maybe not the best medicine. That's the thing about academics. We may be evidence-based, we may be pedantic, but every now and then we say things that aren't always true. And I know this is the case because I have evidence for it. As a social scientist, I've made up a study just for tonight. When asked, 52% of physicists said that doing a PhD made them more pedantic. 63% of maths PhDs said over time, during the course of their PhD, they became more pedantic. 81% of political scientists admitted that they were pedantic. And when I asked them, 98% of hospitality academics didn't really understand the question. Which I guess, though, does pale into insignificance compared to the 100% of contestants on Celebrity Big Brother, who it turns out are twats. Thank you. Celebrity Big Brother, yes. I was reading the Daily Mail a couple of weeks ago, and I admit, I'm the first to admit that reading the Daily Mail as an academic is just like putting dog shit through your own letterbox. And as the Daily Mail was talking about the country going to rack and ruin, they said that heroes of the future will be celebrities. They'll be from these reality TV programmes. They said, look, what looks tacky and shit now, I'm paraphrasing obviously, what looks tacky and shit now in the future will be respectable. And if you can do a degree in David Beckham now, then in the future we'll start to name universities after celebrities. And I gave that a little bit of thought. And my initial thought was the Jim Al-Khalili University of Technology. But apparently he's buggered off, so fuck him, the Brian Cox University of Technology. The Cheryl Cole University of the Performing Arts and non-racial assaults in Guildford nightclubs. See, you're very soon scraping the barrel for celebrity universities. The Jade Goody International University of Multicultural Awareness doesn't work out. But my favourite celebrity is the son of George Best, Callum Best. And I was wondering, well, what kind of university would you have with Callum Best? Maybe the University of the pointless son of the drunken, alcoholic, wife-beating jailbird who pissed away his talent, or Kingston University, as I think. You see, names of universities really do matter. I'm a higher education policy researcher, amongst other things. I know that names are really important. Names are what define you as a university. It's the way you're recognised by the outside world. So, for example, you know, if you're in a new university, if there's a compass point in your name. The University of East London, University of West London, of North London, you know you're at a new university. If there's something in your name that you don't quite understand, Glyndŵr University, De Montfort University, the University of Bolton, for example. You also know if you're at a new university because you failed your fucking A-levels as well. But irrespective of where you are at university, I think you're probably going to have a very similar experience everywhere. My other hat, and I'm not a higher education policy researcher, is that I'm a pedagogue. That's teaching and learning. It's not some offshoot of Operation U-Tree, by the way. And I fully accept that being a pedagogue isn't the sexiest thing in the world. I remember when I told my mother that I was a pedagogue, her immediate reaction was to say, well, I can write off any chances of having grandchildren, can't I? I didn't quite see the link between me being a pedagogue and her having no grandchildren, so I asked her, why don't why do you think me being a pedagogue will stop you having grandchildren? And she said, oh, it won't stop me. What will stop me is the fact that I don't think anyone will ever have sex with you. No one will ever have sex with you. On the upside, at least I now know what it feels like to be a physicist. Yeah, there's always an economist who cheers. The land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. In the case of the economist, if the land of the socially inadequate, the man clearly with an internet-bought bride is slightly above average. But don't get me wrong, there's no one I love more than a physicist. There's nowhere I would rather be than a room full of physicists. I always feel safe when I've got a room full of physicists. You're never going to get a suicide bomber, are you? In a room full of physicists. In a room full of physicists, you get to see what those 72 virgins are really going to look like. And it doesn't matter whether you are the horny, sexy economist or whether you are the virginal physicist. Your experience at university will be probably very much the same, because what you'll encounter as a central component of your learning experience is the lecture. It's part of university tradition. It's a historical part of university teaching. I was an undergraduate at university in Wales in the 1980s. Just so you know, being an undergraduate at University of Wales in the 1980s was just the same as being an undergraduate at University in England in the 1970s. Very much, I suspect, like being an undergraduate in Scotland is right now. And I went through lectures just like my students do now. And the big problem with lectures is they simply do not work. After the first 25 minutes, the attention span of your average 18, 19, 20-year-old undergraduate has gone. They are away with the fairies. And once you've lost their attention, there is absolutely nothing at all you can do to get that attention back. I once moonwalked in a lecture. It was a day after Michael Jackson died. And as well as wanting to try and grab the attention of my students for that difficult last 25 minutes, I wanted to pay tribute to the Peter Pan pop. And I could think of no finer tribute than moonwalking in my lecture. Although, to be honest, I did consider getting in a taxi, going to Heathrow, flying to Los Angeles and fucking Bubbles the monkey. But obviously I would never fuck Bubbles the monkey, even if he was wearing a dress. Unless he was wearing a dress. No, even if he was wearing a dress. So I moonwalked. And the response was rather disappointing. Students kind of looked up from their laptops and Facebook and Twitter, and they nudged one another and said, Is he moonwalking? No, then. I think that's my time up, to be honest. So, the imaginary death of my made-up grandmother. The university is named after Callum Best, the Callum University of New Technology. Now that's an acronym we could have worked with earlier. And the pointlessness of a central component of academic life could have been a lot worse, ladies and gentlemen. You could have been at Kingston. Thank you.